Hi, everybody. This lesson is designed for low intermediate English learners. Specifically, I have planned this for adults who are visiting New York City in the summer. Most of them are here just for a short time, and they're interested in exploring the city and enjoying being a tourist here. And a lot of them are looking to improve their English so that they can do that better. One of the number one things that my students have requested is to know how to order at a coffee shop, such as Starbucks, which is everywhere in the city. And so I have designed a task-based lesson to help them do this. Okay, so to get started today, I'd like you to take a look at this picture. So here we have 9 different types of coffee. And I'd like you to look at it and try to think how many you know the name of. What is the name in English? And you can work together with a partner, or you can have a small group of people. And then after a few minutes, we'll come back together and check how many you could find. Okay, so how many did you get? Let's take a look at the answers. Do you have any favorites? I think probably for me, I usually just drink a latte or an Americano, but I also drink everything because I really love coffee. Today, we're going to be looking at how to order at a coffee shop, like at a Starbucks. And to do that, we need to look at some coffee vocabulary. We'll also look at making polite requests, also how to give your name. And then finally, we need to practice um, pronouncing the prices. So first up is the steps to ordering. So first we have the greeting, then you order. Then after that, you need to give your name. And then finally, the payment. Greetings are usually fast and informal in this situation. The greeting is something that is very nice, but really it's not an important part of the process. We want to get to the ordering very quickly. And so usually you would hear something like, hi, good morning, how are you, or how are you doing? Or maybe a combination of these. Ordering is actually the most complicated part. And there's really two things we need to look at. The first part is a polite request. Usually we say something like, can I get, I'll have, I'd like. In some situations, you might hear people say, gimme, which means give me. And it's very informal, but I think these three are ones that are very common and also very polite. After, we need to say what we want, which is also really complicated. We do usually say in a specific order. We start with the size, then it would be iced or hot, the type of milk you want, if it's not regular whole milk. Also, if you want decaf, if you don't want decaf, then you don't need to say anything. We think that caffeinated is the regular type. And then also after that, you have your actual item and then the extras. And that could be if you want room to add milk, whipped cream, or extra shots of espresso. There's many different types of extras that you could order. So here are some sample orders. Can I get a grande latte, please? I'll have a tall soy milk latte with an extra shot. I'd like a venti decaf Americano with room, please. What are some other ones that you like? One other thing about Starbucks is that they do have special words for the sizes. Most places in the city would say small, medium, and large, or maybe small, regular, and large. But at Starbucks, they actually do use some different words. They have what they call a short, which is the smallest, a tall, which could be a regular or maybe a medium. There's also grande, which is large, and then venti, which is extra large. After you order, you'll need to give your name, and they write it on the side of the cup, and that helps you get it after they make it. And it is something that's a little bit tricky. Often coffee shops are very noisy, and they can be very busy, especially in the morning. And so there are many times that people make mistakes with names. And so don't feel bad if this happens. And one thing that can help is if you spell your name after you say it. So as an example, when they ask, what's your name? You could say, it's Alex, Alex. And then that will help them to write it correctly. And then after you order and they write your name, the final part is the payment. And when we say prices, there are actually two different ways. There's the long way and the short way. And so in this example here, the long way would be $4.25. And this way is actually not so common. We usually use the short way, which would be $4.25. And in that case, we understand that it's money and we don't need to add the word dollars and cents to it. And especially if you think in spoken English, we often like to keep things easy. And maybe even more here in New York because everybody is so busy here. And so you usually hear the short way. So here is a sample conversation. In this example, A is the barista or the cashier, the employee, and B is the customer. And I'd like you to practice this with a partner. I'm going to put everybody in groups of two, and I want you to take turns reading it. And then after that, I'd like you to try to change it to personalize it. So you can add your own name, add your own order, and then also the price at the end. And if you have any questions, be sure to ask. I'm going to be coming around the class to give any extra answers or to see how everything's going. Okay, and so I also have a couple of final tips before we finish today. The first one is that it really helps to decide what you want before you step up to order. It's very stressful if you are standing in front of the person and you're looking at the menu to decide. You can think that there's a lot of pressure in that situation that the other person is waiting for you. So that's why I recommend to stay back and decide what you want before you get to the front. And if you're worried that you might forget what you want to order, you can write it down on a piece of paper. You know, it is really complicated to remember size, milk, the drink, extras. And so if you write it down on a piece of paper, you can use it if there's an emergency. Also, don't be afraid of making mistakes. The employees know that you want coffee and they want to help you get the right thing. If you switch some of the information, they can still understand it, even if it isn't the way that most people order. For your first time, you might want to go after the morning rush. Usually people are trying to get coffee in the morning on their way to work. And so the early hours of maybe I'd say 7 to probably 9:30 or maybe even 10 can be really busy. And it would maybe be more stressful. And so if you're more comfortable, you might want to wait a little bit and then go once it's a little bit calmer in the later morning. So that's it for today. For your homework, I'd like you to go try to order a coffee. And then next time, be sure to tell me about how it goes.